నమస్తే, వెల్కమ్ టు టీ-షాట్. ఈరోజు మనం గురుకుల ఉద్యోగాల్లో భాగంగా ఈరోజు మనము చరిత్రకు సంబంధించిన అంశాన్ని పరిశీలిద్దాం. చరిత్రకు సంబంధించి ఉస్మానియా యూనివర్సిటీ చరిత్ర నిపుణులు విశ్రాంత ఆచార్యులు అంజయ్య గారు ఉన్నారు. మనం వారిని అడిగి తెలుసుకుందాం. సార్ నమస్తే. సార్, మనకు చరిత్రకు సంబంధించి గురుకుల ఉద్యోగాల్లో భాగంగా మనకు డిగ్రీలో ఉన్నటువంటి సిలబస్ని ఎట్లా మనం ఏ విధంగా చేస్తే ఎక్కువ మన జాబ్ కొట్టడానికి అవకాశం ఉంటుంది?
Okay, first of all, thank you very much to 𝗬𝗏 management for giving me this opportunity. It is really a very vast syllabus as far as history is concerned, but there is no other option. We are supposed to take care of all the 5 important sections. The entire syllabus can be divided into 5 sections: ancient period or ancient India, medieval India, modern India, then the history of modern world, and as well as the Telangana history and culture. So, I will try my level best in the course of my discussion to provide an overall idea how best a student with a post graduation degree in MA history can secure better marks in the state level competitive examination.
సార్, హిస్టరీలో మనకు ప్రధానంగా యాన్సెంట్ ఇండియాలో ఎటువంటి సబ్జెక్ట్స్ ఉన్నాయి, దాంట్లో ఎటువంటి చాప్టర్లో ఏ చాప్టర్ మీద ఎక్కువ కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ చేయాల్సి ఉంటుంది?
ఓకే, ప్రధానంగా ఈ పేపర్ 2 హిస్టరీ సిలబస్లో ఏదైతే ది ఏన్షియంట్ ఇండియన్ హిస్టరీ అన్నది ఇట్ ఈస్ ఫస్ట్ పార్ట్, ఆర్ వీ కెన్ సే ది ఫస్ట్ మేజర్ కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ యాజ్ పర్ ది ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ ఈజ్ ది ఏన్షియంట్ ఇండియా. వై షుడ్ వీ ఫస్ట్ గివ్ ప్రియారిటీ టు ఏన్షియంట్ ఇండియన్ హిస్టరీ and culture? Simply because ancient culture is the root for the present generation of our modern culture, and whatever today we are seeing in the contemporary times, whether it is from political history point of view or the society point of view or economy point of view or from culture point of view, we are having a very solid base in the ancient Indian history. I mean to say that in the ancient Indian history there are overall almost all 9 subtopics, and in that 9 subtopics the experts wanted to test the student right from the origin of the history subject. That means historiography, methodology, all these things are there in the very first subtopic. But the question is, how best in the prescribed time the students can prepare for the forthcoming examination in the next month, and how best they can score in each section. Because as far as an subject experts, I want to share with the students community or the candidates who are appearing for the residential schools degree college lecturers examination, don't give importance to ancient India or medieval India. You are supposed to give equal importance to all the 5 sections, because it is paper 2 is for 100 marks, and in this 100 marks 5 major sections are there. So, the experts may prefer to select minimum 20 questions from the each component or each section. So, that is why it is very essential to keep in mind that when you start the preparation, you have already started, but my suggestion is let us give equal importance to all the 5 sections: ancient, medieval, modern, and history of modern world, and as well as Telangana history and culture.
ఓకే సార్, మనం ముఖ్యంగా ఈ యాన్సెంట్ ఇండియాలో హరప్పన్ సివిలైజేషన్ గురించి పెద్దగా ఎక్కువ క్వశ్చన్స్ వస్తున్నాయి అంటారు. అంటే దీంట్లో ఏ విధంగా రావచ్చు, ఎటువంటి క్వశ్చన్ రావచ్చు?
See, as far as our syllabus is concerned, in ancient Indian history or in that component, in that section, Harappan civilization or Indus Valley civilization is already there. The most important point is concerned, when the Harappan civilization or the Indus Valley civilization was discovered by the so called Sir John Marshall and his team in 1920s, it is not a very vast subject for the society or the historians and scholars, but in the course of last almost 100 years period, the Harappan civilization and different excavation works carried out by the archaeologists and experts in different sites, not only on the bank of river Indus, but also on the bank of river Yamuna or Saraswati, we are coming to know about various new aspects. For example, today we are saying that external trade is an important component for the development of any state or any country. So Harappan people also developed or encouraged external trade, and the presence of the Lothal site, which was described as one of the important seaport of Harappan times, is a clear-cut example. So that's why on Harappan culture, experts who are preparing questions for the civil services examination or group 1 examination, they are taking into consideration the various latest works published by the different historians. For example, now our former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh ji's daughter, Professor 𝗵𝗫𝗫 Singh, she works in Delhi University. Recently, 5-6 years back, she published one wonderful book which is covering ancient and early medieval period. And most of the students are now more and more interested in going through the different topics which were covered by 𝗵𝗫𝗫 Singh. So now the beginning of the historical writing in India commenced after the emergence of independent India. K.M. Munshi and R.C. Majumdar and their team, with the support of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan series, they published nearly 12 to 14 volumes covering different aspects of Indian history, ancient, medieval, modern, or what we can say freedom movement also. So they stands as a solid foundation for the writings which are coming in the modern times.
ఓకే సార్, ఇప్పుడు మనం మౌర్యన్ ఏజెస్లో చూసినట్టయితే చంద్రగుప్తలో ఎంత అశోకులు ఇవన్నీ ఉంటాయి కదా, దీంట్లో ఎటువంటి ఇంపార్టెంట్ క్వశ్చన్స్ వస్తాయి?
యా, ఐ విల్ షేర్ దట్ ది ఎస్టాబ్లిష్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఫస్ట్ ఇండిపెండెంట్ పొలిటికల్ అథారిటీ ఆర్ కింగ్డమ్ with Magadha as the headquarters by Chandragupta Maurya was considered as the beginning of political history or dynastic history in the history of our country. So when we look towards the earlier works written by different scholars like Nilakanta Shastri and Majumdar, Romila Thapar and other scholars, they tried to highlight about the conditions in which Chandragupta Maurya succeeded in establishing the independent Mauryan kingdom. And the later scholars like Romila Thapar madam only, she succeeded in producing one wonderful book entitled Ashoka and the Decline of the Mauryan Empire in 2 volumes. And in that work, madam tried to highlight the philosophy of Ashoka Dhamma. Generally we feel that Ashoka accepted Buddhism and he propagated Buddhism. The question is, it is an accepted fact that Ashoka, even though he is very particular about or greatly influenced by the Buddhist philosophy, but his ultimate goal is serving the society without showing any kind of discrimination between his subjects or his people. So that's why when we look toward the Mauryan history, we must thank an eminent Sanskrit scholar, Shyama Shastri, who succeeded in discovering the original book that is Arthashastra of Kautilya. And that work is translated by Shyama Shastri, which became now a Bible for all the scholars or historians who are writing or reading about the Mauryan polity or the Mauryan administrative system. So that's why the present day Indian history is not the creation of one man or one historian. It is the result of many scholars, their wonderful efforts which made the present generation of historians or the students to enjoy the fruits of their hard work.
సార్, నెక్స్ట్ మనకు అనదర్ 3 టైప్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఆ టాపిక్స్లో ప్రీ శాతవాహనస్ అండ్ గుప్తా ఏజ్ అండ్ ఇండియా ఇన్ 7th century ఉన్నది సార్.
Yeah.
దీంట్లో ఇంకా ఇంపార్టెంట్ క్వశ్చన్స్ దేని మీద రావచ్చు?
Yeah, I will share. See, as far as your concern is concerned, in the ancient India, that 7th topic is about the Shatavahanas and as well as the post-Shatavahana rulers who ruled different parts of South India or the Central India. The question is, Shatavahanas always is an important topic because it is not just because it belongs to our Shatavahanas ruled the present Telugu speaking area consisting of present Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. It is just because the Shatavahanas did wonderful contribution to the culture of Indian history. According to eminent historian Nilakanta Shastri, he said that Shatavahanas acted as a bridge between the North Indian culture and the South Indian culture. So when you read History of South India published by Nilakanta Shastri from prehistoric times to almost all 12th century, that is providing wonderful information. And my dear candidates who are preparing for this type of examination, I suggest very sincerely to all of you not only to depend upon the coaching center material or guide material. You are supposed to look towards the standard reference books which were referred in the syllabus by the subject experts or the concerned universities where you pursued your MA history course.
ఓకే సార్. నెక్స్ట్ ఆ గుప్తుల్లో కూడా మనకు ప్రధానంగా ఈ గుప్తుల్లో వాళ్ళ పరిస్థితి సోషియో ఎకనామిక్ కండిషన్స్ గురించి కూడా ఎక్కువ అడుగుతుంటారు కదా సార్. దాంట్లో ఏ టైప్ ఆఫ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ అడిగే అవకాశం ఉంది?
See, as far as the Gupta age is concerned or the achievements of Guptas are concerned, generally we feel that the political or military achievements of Samudragupta as prescribed or as described in the Allahabad Pillar Edict written by Harisena, it is not so important for us. But when you read the details about Samudragupta's military achievements, there is a list of different rulers, minor or major rulers or the kingdoms which suffered a defeat in the hands of Samudragupta. So that on that point you are supposed to concentrate. And simultaneously, when we look towards the Gupta age, it is not only the Samudragupta's military achievements which made Guptas very popular in the ancient times, but we are supposed to look towards the society which took a perfect shape, the religious tolerance of the Guptas, the cultural contribution of Guptas, the growth of Sanskrit literature during Gupta's period, the wonderful works written by eminent scholars and poets like Kalidasa or Aryabhatta and a team of others. So the question is, when we read about the ancient Indian history, especially as sir said that on Harappan culture or Indus Valley culture, but we are also supposed to take care about the first major political ruling family or dynasty, that is Mauryas, and as well as the second important one, that is Guptas. Then only we can do the justice. There is one wonderful work published by the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan series which is entitled as Classical Age. క్లాసికల్ ఏజ్ అన్న టైటిల్ తోటి వచ్చిన బుక్ను మీరు చూసినప్పుడు యూ విల్ కమ్ అక్రాస్ వండర్ఫుల్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అబౌట్ లిటరరీ వర్క్స్ ఆఫ్ దట్ పీరియడ్ అండ్ ది ఆర్ట్ అండ్ ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ ఆఫ్ దట్ పీరియడ్. సో ఐ సజెస్ట్ యూ టు ట్రై టు అట్లీస్ట్ గివ్ ఏ టైమ్ ఇన్ ఆర్డర్ టు లుక్ టువర్డ్ ది స్టాండర్డ్ హిస్టారికల్ వర్క్స్ రిటన్ బై ఎమినెంట్ స్కాలర్స్. నెక్స్ట్
సార్, నెక్స్ట్ మనము పుష్యభూతి వంశంలో హర్షవర్ధన్ని బాగా గొప్ప వ్యక్తిగా చెప్తాము, దాని గురించి కూడా క్వశ్చన్స్ ఎక్కువ వస్తుంటాయి. అయితే ఈ పల్లవులు, చాళుక్యుల్లో ఈ రాష్ట్రకూటులు ఇటువంటి వాటి మీద ఎటువంటి క్వశ్చన్లు వచ్చే అవకాశం ఉంటుంది?
Yeah, see, as far as that last topic in the ancient Indian component is concerned or ancient India is concerned, it is related to the India in the 7th century, or what we can broadly divide that entire subtopics into 3 sections. One is Harshavardhana, or what is the real contribution of Pushapati dynasty and Harshavardhana towards the enrichment of Indian culture, one thing. Second point is among the contemporaries of 𝗵𝗺 dynasty or 𝗳𝗏𝗺, the Chalukyas of Badami earned a special place. As far as the syllabus is there, Pallavas also is mentioned. Pallavas almost all 6th century to 10th century roughly, they ruled from Kanchipuram, and Western Chalukyas or Badami Chalukyan ruled from that Badami or Pattadkal in Karnataka. But in the case of 𝗵𝗺 dynasty or 𝗳𝗏𝗺, they are masters in the present Haryana Punjab region. And why 𝗳𝗏𝗺 occupied a special place in the history of what we can say 6th century period? Simply because 𝗳𝗏𝗺 succeeded in doing some kind of repairing work which was destroyed because of the decline of Guptas and Hun invasions on India. So 𝗳𝗏𝗺 was like Ashoka. He was also known as a very, very religious tolerant ruler, and he also worked for the all round development of his subjects or his people.
ఓకే సార్, నెక్స్ట్ మనకు మీడియల్ ఇండియాలో చూసినట్టయితే మనము ప్రధానంగా రాజపుట్స్ అండ్ టర్కిష్ ఇన్వేషన్స్, లేటర్ ఈ పల్లవాస్, చాళుక్యాస్ ఇవన్నీ ఉన్నాయి కదా సార్. అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ తర్వాత వీళ్ళ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్, ఎకనామిక్, కల్చర్ ఎట్లా ఉంది అనే దాని మీద ప్రధానంగా మనం ఎటువంటి క్వశ్చన్లు అడిగే అవకాశం?
See, as far as this prescribed syllabus is concerned, in component 2 it is mentioned as medieval India. So there is a big debate among the historians from which year we are supposed to consider as the beginning of the medieval Indian history. Some scholars said that it is the Arab conquest of Sindh in 711. Some scholars said no, it is from 1206 onwards with the establishment of Delhi Sultanate rule. And here I do not want to enter into the debate about where to start and which is the official year for the commencement of the medieval history in the Indian history. But the question is, we are supposed to remember 3 or 4 important aspects when we are going to read about this medieval Indian history. See there, we are starting from the Arab conquest of Sindh, and we are jumping into the Turkish invasions, the success of Ghazni and Ghori invasions, and finally the establishment of Delhi Sultanate rule by Qutbuddin Aibak in the year 1206 at Delhi. And from 1206 to almost all 1526, 5 dynasties, slave dynasty, then Khiljis, then Tughlaqs, then Sayyids and Lodis ruled with Delhi as their headquarters. That does not mean that the entire central India and North India and South India passed into the control of Delhi Sultanate. We are supposed to remember here, the primary objective of the Delhi Sultanate rulers is transformation of Darul Harb into Darul Islam. దేవాలయాలకు నిలయమైనటువంటి భారతావన్ని మసీదులకు కేంద్రమైనటువంటి స్థావరంగా మార్చాలన్నది వాళ్ళ లక్ష్యం అని చెప్పుకుంటారు. హియర్ we are supposed to remember, Prophet Muhammad never encouraged such type of things, but in the course of time his successors, pious caliphs and their successors propagated this type of concept. So we are not supposed to blame Prophet for this type of activity. Their requirement, the greed, the overgrowing greed to expand their political authority, and in order to maintain vast army, the Delhi Sultans wanted to conquer the South Indian Hindu kingdoms. In those days there were 4 kingdoms in South India. One is Yadavas of Devagiri, Hoysalas of Dwarasamudra, Pandyas of Madurai and Kakatiyas of Warangal. So the attempt started from 1290 onwards, and finally by the year 1323, during the period of what we can say the Tughlaqs, all Hindus, all the 4 South Indian Hindu medieval kingdoms became a part and parcel of Delhi Sultanate Empire. That does not mean that the political success provided a crushing blow, a final blow to the South India or the Hindu subjects of South India. It is immediately after the return of Tughlaq armies to Delhi, the former officials of Prataparudra II of Kakatiya dynasty, like Musnuri Prolaya Nayaka, Prolaya Vemareddy, Aravid Somadevaraju and Anapota Nayaka, they started a kind of liberation movement. Vimukti Poratam like a Vimochana Poratal antar. 1323 నుండి 1347. So what is the ultimate result is concerned? According to Vilasa copper plate inscription of Musnuri Prolaya Nayaka, it is very clearly stated that the Delhi Sultanate authority was overthrown due to the brave efforts of these above 4 leaders. And that's why Musnuri Kapaya Nayaka, the successor of Prolaya Nayaka, was described in inscriptions as Andhra Suratrana, one who was a very beloved to the gods, Devataluk Priyamainatvanti vaadu. So the question is, when we look towards medieval India, it is not proper to say that it is the conflict between the Muslim rulers of north and the Hindu rulers of south. Even though the clash continued, for example, in the Vijayanagara army during the period of Devaraya I and Devaraya II, the Bahmani kingdom Muslim soldiers were recruited. In the Panshupari Bazaar, according to Hampi runes of Longhurst, there was a mosque constructed by Vijayanagar ruler for the purpose of offering prayers to the Muslim soldiers serving in the society. The question is, when we read the medieval Indian history, it is a very, very dangerous space in Indian history. We are supposed to maintain some kind of accuracy and we should not deviate from the objectivity. We should read only standard books. For example, in that second medieval dot, 13th subtopic is there about Mughal history. When we read about the Mughal history from 1526 to 1707, there is one dangerous ruler, the last great Mughal emperor, none other than Aurangzeb. About Aurangzeb, there are different works by different scholars. But the question is, one eminent scholar, Jadunath Sarkar, he know Persian as well as Marathi and English. His works on Shivaji and his times and Aurangzeb and the decline of the Mughal Empire, they were considered by the present generation of scholars as standard works. See, there is a clash of interest between two powerful personalities. There is nothing wrong. Shivaji wanted to emerge himself as a hero. Aurangzeb also wanted to emerge himself as a hero. Politically they were rivals, but that doesn't mean the culture in the Deccan was cropped up by the wonderful humanitarian preachings of Bhakti saints from Maratha region, whether it is Eknath or Sant Tukaram or Sant Jnaneshwar. So that's why on one occasion when Samartha Ramdas, the guru of Shivaji, Shivaji went to his court and his home and said, Guruji, I want to declare you as the master of this entire Swarajya. What is the answer you know from his teacher? See, I am a very humble human being. I don't want to become a ruler, or I don't want any jewelry or gifts or donations. You try to decorate your heart with simplicity, and the idea of service to human beings is service to God. So Shivaji surrendered himself. So this is how when we read about the medieval history, we are supposed to take care of all other aspects. And in that only, in the 12th subtopic, there is one important aspect, that is age of Vijayanagar rulers. See, the Kakatiya rule came to an end in 1323, and the last Prataparudra II suffered the defeat and he committed suicide by jumping into river Narmada. But his two important servants or officials, Harihara I and Bukka I, were taken as prisoners to the court of Ghiyazuddin Tughlaq Shah. There they got converted into Islam. If it is not written openly in the books, in order to save their lives, they got converted, and they won the confidence of the Muhammad bin Tughlaq when he became the ruler in 1325. And when the revolts in the erstwhile Kakatiya kingdom or area became unbearable, Muhammad bin Tughlaq dispatched these two brothers with a huge army. They lost their battle, but accidentally they met sage Vidyaranya on the bank of river Tungabhadra, and ultimately with his blessings they were reconverted into Hindu fold, and they established a new kingdom, that is Anegondi, in the name of 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧, Lord 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧, not in their own name. As they were the sons of Bhavasangama, that first dynasty which ruled between 1336 to 1485 became known as Sangama dynasty or first dynasty. So when we read about the Vijayanagara history also, there are not less than 142 books were published, right from Robert Sewell's A Forgotten Empire to recent work which I published last year in 2021, the ministers and generals under the Rayas of Vijayanagara. So every day the subject is growing. I suggest you to select certain wonderful books and do well.
Sir, another question.
Please.
అంటే బాబరు మొఘల్ సామ్రాజ్యాన్ని స్థాపించినాడు. ఆ తర్వాత ఈ షేర్షా ఎవరైతే ఉన్నాడో ఆయన వీళ్ళు ఒక సామ్రాజ్యాన్ని నెక్స్ట్ ఆక్రమించి చేసిన తర్వాత మళ్ళీ అక్బర్ అధికారంలోకి వస్తాడు. ఈ టైంలో ఉన్నటువంటి దాని మీద ఎటువంటి క్వశ్చన్స్ వచ్చే అవకాశం?
See, when we look toward the history of Mughal period, it doesn't mean that only the Babar, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb. But after the end of defeat of Humayun in 1540, Sher-Shah Sur, an ordinary chief, became the Sultan, and he ruled for the 5 years period only, but he introduced number of innovative reforms in administration, in revenue system, in military organization, and he became, according to many scholars, he became a model to the great Akbar or Akbar's administrative system. So there is every possibility of asking on Sher-Shah also. One book which I like to suggest, it is Kalikacharandas Kanungo. He wrote a book on Sher-Shah Sur. If it is available, you can refer. Otherwise, you can look towards the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan series, Mughal Empire or Mughal Age.
ఓకే సార్, నెక్స్ట్ మనము బ్రిటిష్ పవర్ ఇన్ ఇండియా దాంట్లో చూసుకున్నట్టయితే ప్రధానంగా ఈ ఎప్పుడు మనకు భారతదేశాన్ని పరిపాలించిన ఈ బ్రిటిష్ రాని ఎప్పుడు ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ చేసుకున్నది బ్రిటిష్ సామ్రాజ్యాన్ని అనేది దాని మీద ఎక్కువ అడుగుతుంటారు. దీంట్లో ఇంకా అంతకు మించి క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇంకా ఎటువంటి అంటే గవర్నర్ జనరల్ కానీ ఇంకా ఎటువంటి క్వశ్చన్లు అడిగే అవకాశం?
I will try to highlight on this point. In the third part, modern India main part, there are 5 major subheadings, and the question is, when we use the term modern India, again there is a big debate. Which year we are supposed to consider for our Indian history to mark as the beginning of modern times? But without entering to those things, generally we will see in the modern India we can divide the entire developments between 1600 right from the establishment of East India Company and entry of East India Company during the period of Akbar into India to till the establishment of Governor General's rule, that is 1772 according to the regulating act of 1772-73, and as well as between 1773 to till last Governor General or up to the historic 1857-58 revolt or Sepoys revolt. What exactly happened during this period is concerned, the East India Company became an agent, and the British Parliament members decided the matters related to the administration of India through an officer known as Governor General and his council. So right from Warren Hastings to Wellesley to Benting to Hastings to then Cornwallis to Dalhousie, all these Governor Generals during their respective period tried to introduce their own ideas to administer the country. For example, if we are more particular about our Telangana region history. In the year 1798, second Nizam Ali Khan signed on the terms of Treaty of Subsidiary Alliance when Wellesley prepared it, and Nizam got total protection for the remaining period till September 17, 1948, we can say in general. And like that, the new education policy, or what we can say introduction of English medium of instruction and western subjects, which was the brainchild of William Bentinck, which was supported by the great social reformer from Bengal, Raja Ram Mohan Rai and his supporters, that also contributed some in another way to the enrichment of Indians' wisdom and knowledge. There is no second thought in the mindset of social reformers and freedom leaders of the freedom movement that they encouraged the study in the vernacular languages, whether it is Hindi or Sanskrit or Telugu or Kannada or Tamil. But at the same time, they also, some of them realized the importance of knowing the English language, reading the Western works, in order to emerge ourselves as more and more competent people even under the British Raj.
సార్ మనకు అనదర్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటంటే మనకు జనరల్గా ఈ బ్రహ్మ సమాజం గురించి రాజా రామ్మోహన్ రాయ్ గురించి ఎక్కువగా అడుగుతుంటారు క్వశ్చన్స్. దీంట్లో ఎటువంటి క్వశ్చన్లు అడిగే అవకాశం ఉంటుంది?
In general, 10 years ago, the method of preparing the questions by the subject experts in any subject was different. But after the formation of Telangana state, after the completion of the first phase of group exams 4-5 years back, there was a drastic change in every subject in which the experts are trying to take the candidates' perfect knowledge in that particular topic. For example, if somebody is going to ask a simple question like, who was the founder of Brahma Samaj? Everybody will tell. But if somebody is going to ask a question like, Brahma Samaj was founded in the year so and so, Arya Samaj was founded in the year so and so, Young Italy was founded in the year so and so, and the Hohenzollernerian organization is founded in the so and so year, and arrange them in the chronological order according to their establishment and adigindi anukondi, it takes lot of time. Entire prelims examination is an attempt to test the overall subject knowledge of the candidates. That's why recently when our government conducted the group on examination also, in history section I found very difficult to answer some questions, but I can't escape, no. I tried my level best to catch up the standard works, and when my students asked answer, I am in a position to give. That's why in Brahma Samaj or Arya Samaj or Divyajnana Samaj or Theosophical Society or Aligarh movement, or what we can say the SNDP, Swami in south, far south Kerala, Jyotiba Phule or Pandita Ramabai, every topic requires special attention. You can't take it as granted that only if I am going to master on Brahma Samaj. No. You may get a question linking with the Brahma Samaj and its contribution. You may get a question linking with Raja Ram Mohan Rai and his contacts with the other social reformers of his contemporary times.
సార్ ఇంకొకటి మనకు ఈ బ్రిటిష్ వాళ్ళ మీద తిరుగుబాటుకు మనకు ప్రధానమైనటువంటి 1857 సిపాయిల తిరుగుబాటు ఉంది కదా సార్, దీని మీద ప్రధానంగా ఎటువంటి క్వశ్చన్లు అడిగే అవకాశం ఉంటుంది?
యా, see, the most important point is, even though it is almost all 90 years old story, still in the scholarly world or among the historians there was no uniform opinion in order to describe that 1857-58 event. Scholars prefer to describe it as simply a Sepoys mutiny or the revolt of Sepoys. Some scholars who were filled with the spirit of patriotism towards motherland India they described it as the first war of India's independence. There is nothing wrong. But my observation, in my short observation, what I found, today we are in a highly developed technology world where we can get information in our WhatsApp within seconds. But what kind of records were there if you want to study about 𝗳𝗏𝗃 𝗚𝗏𝗃𝗃 or 𝗳𝗏𝗃 𝗃𝗍𝗃 or 𝗂𝗏 Khan's attack on our residency, the present Telangana Mahila Vishwavidyalayam building? Whatever information is there, that information is not totally accurate or authentic. Local newspapers coverage, for example, 𝗂𝗏 Khan's attack on residency on 14th July 1857 is nil. Why I am sharing with you people? Because just I did one small project under 𝗬𝗏𝗃 𝗚𝗏 𝗚 for our Government of India Department of Cultural Affairs along with Professor 𝗘𝘅𝗺𝗺 sir, Chancellor Manipur Central University. There I tried my level best to catch up some local papers, but even today I am not in a position to get up. Whatever British records are there, whatever East India Company records are there, they are not giving a true picture. One-sided picture is there. So that we are supposed to take care, and there are different centers during the period of 1857-58 revolt, even on centers and leaders and the center on which river bank it is located, like that, which building was there. For example, when you look towards Lucknow, Begum Hazrat Mahal, who is Hazrat Mahal? What is the relationship between 1857 revolt and Hazrat Mahal? Who was the resident at Lucknow? That also we are supposed to keep in mind.
ఓకే సార్, నెక్స్ట్ మనం నేషనల్ మూవ్మెంట్లోకి వెళ్ళినట్టయితే జాతీయ ఉద్యమంలో గురించి ప్రధానంగా ఈ 1885 నుంచి 1905 వరకు ఒక సెషన్ ఉంది. అట్లాంటి దాని మీద ఎటువంటి క్వశ్చన్స్ అడిగారు? మోడరేట్స్ మీద కానీ, ఎక్స్ట్రీమిస్ట్ మీద కానీ, ఇట్లాంటి దాని మీద ఎటువంటి క్వశ్చన్లు అడిగే అవకాశం ఉంది?
నో ప్రాబ్లం. See, in this third subheading, that is modern India, the 18th topic is mentioned as rise and growth of Indian nationalism, all these things. Simple logic. Nationalism in Indian context is already present since Mauryan times. Maybe the percentage may be differing. When Mauryas united for the first time, most parts of the present modern India, a uniform type of administrative system was introduced by them. It itself is an example, a proof. So when we look toward the Indian national movement, కొత్తగా ఏం పుట్టుక రాలేదండి, ఉన్నదానికి కొంచెం గట్టి వైబ్రేషన్, గట్టి పునాదులు వేశారు. So whether the rise of nationalism, spread of nationalism, or the spirit of nationalism in Indians is the result of the oppressive rule of the East India Company's policies or the British rule, this we are supposed to look. Yes, once the 1857-58 revolt is crushed by the British, the East India Company rule officially came to an end over Indian territories. The historic Queen's Proclamation of 1st October 1858 made it very clear that hereafter Indians are a part of British Empire. No more a trading company is going to be the master of this land or the people of this land. So the nationalism is there, but it required some kind of what we can say touch up, some kind of vibrant motivation. So that came in the form of what we can say, due to the efforts of the success of socio-religious reform movement, the introduction of what we can say English medium of instruction, the emergence of middle classes. Here we are supposed to remember there are two different views among the historians. What is the nature of national movement before the advent of Gandhi? What is the nature of national movement after the advent of Gandhi? The thing is, it is a class movement before Gandhi, but after the advent of Gandhi from 1920 to 1947, it is a common people's movement. That means it became a people movement. It is not confined to certain sections. It became a mass movement. So from that context, whether moderates like Lala Lajpat Rai, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Badruddin Thabji, whether they really contributed to the pumping of extra enthusiasm in the countrymen in their respective areas to get united and fight against the British, they made their own efforts. They were trained and they were cultured in a kind of atmosphere in which they don't want to throw an atom bomb or a bomb on British administrators. They believed in the principle of what we can say triple P, pray, petition and protest. Whether they succeeded during their first 20 years of efforts or not, it is on paper. Yes, it is not correct to describe or discourage or criticize the efforts of the moderates. They did their level best within their purview, within their limits. And after the decision of Lord Curzon to divide the Bengal in order to disturb the Hindu-Muslim unity in the name of administrative convenience, yes, not only Bengal people and that historic song Vande Mataram, written in wonderful novel by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee in Anand Math, it became the slogan, it became the movement itself became a Vande Mataram movement. And even in the Madras presidency at in our Andhra region, a young student named B.Ed college student Gadicharla Harisottam Rao, who was known as Andhra Tilak, he boycotted the exam and his followers, his classmates also jumped into the movement and they attended the lecture given by or the speech given by Bipin Chandra Pal, one of the prominent leaders of Vande Mataram movement. So that's why when we look toward the Indian national movement, it is a vast area. And there are different opinions among the scholars. For example, somebody want to read about the freedom movement in the simple Bihar. There is nothing wrong. Non-cooperation movement in Guntur district is one PhD topic and book is published by one of our senior teachers. Maudpudi Venkatarangaya published freedom movement in Andhra Pradesh in 3 volumes. So we can't underestimate the contribution made by the leaders of the first generation in the Congress and the establishment of Indian National Congress. Even if it is not 𝗹𝗶, somebody will emerge. ఎవరో ఒకరు రాక తప్పే పరిస్థితులు అక్కడేం కనబడలేవు. And luckily the so called efforts of all the first generation of western educated leaders, it materialized and by December 1885 the so called Indian National Congress emerged.
సార్ ఒకటి మళ్ళీ ఇంకొకటి మనకు ముఖ్యంగా ఈ గాంధీ మన స్వతంత్రోద్యమంలో చాలా ఉద్యమాలు చేసి మనకు నాన్ కోఆపరేషన్ మూమెంట్ అని, తర్వాత సివిల్ డిజోబీడియన్స్ మూమెంట్, ఉప్పు సత్యాగ్రహం అని, కిట్ ఇండియా మూమెంట్ అని చేశాడు. వీటికి బాగా ఎక్కువనే ఇప్పటివరకు చరిత్రలో బాగానే క్వశ్చన్స్ వస్తున్నాయి. అయితే ఈ మధ్య కాలంలో బిఆర్ అంబేద్కర్ మీద ఎక్కువ క్వశ్చన్స్ వస్తున్నాయి. అంబేద్కర్ అంటే ఇటు హిస్టరీ కానీ పొలిటికల్ కానీ జనరల్గా కానీ క్వశ్చన్స్ బాగా వస్తున్నాయి. ఇప్పుడు ఎక్కువ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఏ క్వశ్చన్స్ వచ్చే అవకాశం ఉంటుంది మనకు హిస్టరీ నుంచి?
In general, the subject experts will not have any kind of special interest in any specific movement or any specific personality. When the concerned organization collect the questions from the experts, when they pool them into a final bunch, sometimes maybe there are extra questions on a personality like Gandhi or Chauri Chaura incident or Subhash Chandra Bose or Jallianwala Bagh tragedy or Ambedkar or Phule. There is nothing wrong. But as a student, as a candidate, we are supposed to prepare for all the topics given in that particular aspect or in that particular main heading, that is modern India. టైం దగ్గరకు వస్తుంది.
ఓకే సార్, నెక్స్ట్
మోడర్న్
మోడర్న్ వరల్డ్.
ఓకే,
నెక్స్ట్ మోడర్న్ వరల్డ్లో ఇండస్ట్రియల్ రిలేషన్స్ ఒకటి వచ్చింది కదా సార్, ఈ పారిశ్రామిక విప్లవం సంబంధించి ఎటువంటి క్వశ్చన్లు అడిగే అవకాశం ఉంది. తర్వాత అమెరికన్ వార్ ఆఫ్ ఇండిపెండెన్స్ కూడా దీంట్లో రిలవెంట్.
తప్పకుండా. వన్ మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ పాయింట్ ఈస్ కన్సర్న్ ఆఫ్టర్ preparing for the ancient, medieval and modern India, when we jump into world history or history of the modern world, it is really a big challenge, because in modern world the topics selected, they are almost all 8 major topics, starting from industrial revolution to almost all UNO or United Nations Organization. I mean to say, we are making an effort to cover almost all more than 500 years history related to whether it is America or France or England or Italy or Germany or Russia or Turkey and so on. My suggestion is, let us select one by one topic and try to catch up the first standard works only to prepare for objective type questions. Even in the modern world history also, there is every possibility of asking the questions in the chronological order, in the matching form or in the odd out form. For example, just now I shared with you Young Italy, formation of Hohenzollern society, then first Balkan war, then we can say the Berlin blockade. If the question is to order them from first to last, it will take time. So my suggestion is, when you prepare for industrial revolution or American war of independence or the French revolution or the so called rise of liberation movements for the unification of Italians or the Germans and their significance, we are supposed to take care of step by step preparation. Chronology should not be deviated. Chronology miss aithe tappakunda tappulu chestam. And another important suggestion is, if you are not damn sure about, very much sure about any question, try to give up that question, otherwise you will lose the time. Idantha time game. 100 మార్కులు 2 గంటలలో చేస్తుర్రా 3 గంటలలో చేస్తుర్రా, it matters. So that's why try to catch up and concentrate in world history also on well known questions which were there in the question paper in order to save them. For example, Bismarck, Mazzini, Cavour and Gandhi. Tell me who died first? Big question. Chronology telvale. Chronology telvale. That is more important. See, as a history student, what my teachers taught me, chronology telvakunte నువ్వు ఇంకా హిస్టరీ టీచర్ కావని చెప్పారు మా లేట్ శ్రీరామ్ శర్మ సార్. కాబట్టి I always share with this my students when I am in service till 30th June. I also share with in such programs where I am just invited as a humble teacher to share my subject knowledge, and that is more important. Hayes, Hazen, Fisher, కెటిబ్లీ, ఈ 4 బుక్కులు మీరు ఒక్కసారి చూడండి వరల్డ్ హిస్టరీకి. ఇవన్నీ కాలేదు, ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ నాట్ ఇన్ ఎ పొజిషన్ టు ప్రిపేర్, అట్లీస్ట్ రీడ్ ది ఫస్ట్ తెలుగు అకాడమీ పబ్లిష్డ్ బుక్ edited by Professor Sheshan, retired professor from HCU, and also wonderful information is there in Ambedkar Open University World History book also. Okay. But my suggestion is, wherever you get a small monograph, 20 pages book also, you try to read. That will help you to improve your knowledge in any domain, in any area.
నెక్స్ట్ సార్, మనము మొదటి ప్రపంచ యుద్ధం జరిగింది కదా సార్, దానికి కారణాలు ఏంటి, తర్వాత ఈ లీగ్ ఆఫ్ నేషన్స్ ఏర్పడడానికి కారణాలు ఏంటి, ఆ లీగ్ ఆఫ్ నేషన్ వైఫల్యం చెందడానికి కారణాలు ఏంటి, ఇటువంటి వాటి మీద ఎటువంటి క్వశ్చన్లు అడిగే అవకాశం ఉంది?
See, the very simple logic is, the First World War is the result of 1870-71 treaty, where the France suffered a defeat. Then secret alliances started. The Berlin Congress of 1878 could not find a solution to patch up the differences between the nations, and finally the so-called two blocks supported by the on one side Germany, Italy for some time, then Russia, then others. Finally the First World War came to an end with a disaster for the so-called Germans, and the Treaty of Versailles, you are supposed to take care of terms and conditions of Treaty of Versailles. There are territorial adjustments in that treaty, you are supposed to take care of them. And finally the League of Nations emerged without America as a member. Woodrow Wilson's all efforts gone, and finally the League could not provide a permanent peace to the world. That led to the formation of differences, and finally the Second World War outbroke in 1939, and it came to an end with the bombarding of Hiroshima and Nagasaki by America and its allies in August 1945. The UNO, whatever efforts UNO made in the past almost a half a decade period, the efforts must be appreciated. The different organizations like UNESCO, UNICEF, WHO, ILO, they are doing really wonderful contribution to the development of underdeveloped and third world countries. So take care of such type of topics when you look toward the UNO and its contribution towards world peace and as well as reorganization of the world economy.
తర్వాత సార్ నెక్స్ట్ మనము రష్యన్ రెవల్యూషన్ చూసినాం సార్ 1917లో వచ్చింది. దాని కారణాలు ఏంది, దాని ఫలితాలు ఏంటి, దాని మీద ఎటువంటి క్వశ్చన్లు వచ్చే అవకాశం ఉంది?
See, in very briefly I try to summarize because last part is there, time is rushing. Russian Revolution of 1917 is against the unending oppressive rule of Tsar monarchs. The Tsars were the contemporaries of the so-called Bourbons of France, Hohenzollernarians of Prussia, Habsburgs of Austria and Spain, and these countries changed in the course of time and introduced some liberal policies for the all-round development of public. But in the case of Russia, as it is geographically located half in Asia and half in Europe, a kind of iron wall is constructed which made the Russians not to make a scientific or what we can say humanistic development on par with them. Finally the Bolshevik revolution under Lenin's leadership, under the influence or the philosophy of Marx and Engels, put an end to the Tsar monarchy. So Russian Revolution is also very important one. Now you are supposed to take care at least in a systematic way about the different events connected with the Russian Revolution.
ఓకే సార్, నెక్స్ట్ మనం హిస్టరీ ఆఫ్ తెలంగాణ చూద్దాం సార్. దీంట్లో ప్రీ హిస్టరీ ఏంటి, ప్రీ శాతవాహనాస్ అండ్ శాతవాహనాస్, పోస్ట్ శాతవాహనాస్, ఆల్రెడీ యూ ఆర్ గివెన్ ఆన్సర్స్. ఈక్ష్వాకస్, వాకాటకస్, వీటి మీద ఎటువంటి క్వశ్చన్లు వచ్చే అవకాశం ఉంటుంది?
See, as I said that the last part, which is consisting of around 8 subtopics, it is purely dedicated to provide the students, test the students what kind of knowledge they really gained after the formation of Telangana state about the Telangana history and culture. The intention is very clear. There is no Telangana history when we were doing our MA or our PhD, but we were made to learn and write the Telangana history and culture after the formation of our state as per the instructions of Higher Education Department or our Honorable Chief Minister and his team. We tried our level best to provide a chronological, authentic information about the origin, expansion and consolidation of Telangana history and culture, the ruling dynasties, right from prehistoric times to till the almost all Telangana armed struggle of 1948.
Sir, another Chalukyas and Badami, Vemulawada and Mudigonda Chalukyas, ఎటువంటి క్వశ్చన్స్ వచ్చే అవకాశం ఉంటుంది?
See, actually in the Telangana history and culture, there in the 30th subtopic 7th century to 11th century, in that stream Chalukyas of Badami, Vemlavada, Mudigonda Chalukyas are there. See, generally political history oriented questions are coming down and down, culture oriented, temples constructed by so and so, books written by so and so, or the fort constructed by so and so. Such type of questions the experts are preferring from the Chalukyan period and the so called post Chalukyan period also. I will share you with one important point. For example, when we look toward the Kakatiya history, everybody knows that Hanmakonda 1000 pillar temple inscription of Rudradeva clearly declared that Rudradeva declared his complete sovereign power. But in which year and which scholar really found this inscription? It is a very tough question.
ఓకే సార్, తర్వాత పద్మనాయక అండ్ ముసనరీ దాని మీద, తర్వాత మనకు కుతుబ్ షాహీస్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ వారి రిలీజన్ మీద, ఆసఫ్జాయి మీద బ్రీఫ్గా ఒక 5 minutes టైం ఉంది, బ్రీఫ్గా వివరించండి.
See, the question is, when we are looking toward the syllabus post Kakatiya period from 1323 to almost all we can say up to 1518 వరకు రావచ్చు మనం. When we are looking toward that point, Reddys ruled from Addanki and as well as Kondavedu in the coastal Andhra region, and Recherla Padmanayakas or Velamas, they ruled from Rachakonda and Devarkonda area. And another important point is the Musnuri chiefs, Prolanayaka and Kapayanayaka, they ruled from the so called Rekapalli, then from Varangal for the period of almost all not more than 40 years. But the question is, what is the uniqueness of the ruling period of Musnur Nayakas, Padma Nayakas in the history of Telangana? That we are supposing. It is their efforts, it is their courage, it is their spirit which literally provided the present kind of security to the people of this region, identity to the people of this region. Kakatiyas became a role model to the present government through their Golsu Cheruvulu or encouragement towards irrigation works. And the Kakatiyas model was carried out by even the Vijayanagar rulers, even though they ruled from Andhra, Rayalaseema or Karnataka, Tamil Nadu region. So that's why when we look toward the Qutub Shahis 1518 to almost all 1687, that 175 years period, Qutub Shahis are not the native people of this region, but they considered Telangana as their motherland. Even though they were Shias, they were not liked by the contemporary Mughals or Aurangzeb, they were Sunnis. And Qutub Shahis encouraged Telugu language, Telugu poets, Telugu scholars, respected the sentiments and practices and culture of the people of this region. That's why, in the opinion of eminent scholar, eminent historian, late Professor Neltur Venkataramanaya, they were Telugus, not more, not less. Even though they were Muslims, he said they were Telugus because they did wonderful service. If at all any mistakes are there, they tried their level best to protect Golconda from Aurangzeb's attacks. But because of the selfishness of some people, they lost their battle, and the Mughal rule from 1707 to 1724 continued with minor significance, and Asafjais from 1724 to 1948 for the period of 224 years. They were popularly known in history as Nizams, and under Nizams also, even some mistakes are committed by them. Definitely we must accept they did some kind of constructive contribution to the development of the present Hyderabad and its surroundings and also Telangana region.
సార్, ముఖ్యంగా లాస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్, 1 minute టైం జస్ట్ టేక్. అయితే ఈ తెలంగాణ మూవ్మెంట్లో ప్రధానంగా ఈ తెలంగాణ చరిత్రకు సంబంధించిన అంశాల్లో ఏ రకమైన గ్రంథాలు ఉన్నాయి, అవన్నీ మన విద్యార్థులకు, ప్రేక్షకులకు కొంచెం వివరించగలరు?
తప్పకుండా.
ఎటువంటి బుక్స్ చదువుకోవాలి?
See, what are the important books which we are supposed to prepare or read for the final component, that is Telangana history culture? As I said, Telangana history is already there in the earlier books published by Telugu Academy. But in the recent times, as I said, Telangana History Culture third year book is there. Competitive examinations point of view, some books also there. And my teacher, Professor 𝗹𝗶 Sathyanarayana, and my junior colleague who is the in charge of Tribal Museum, 𝗹𝗶 Sathyanarayana, also wrote some books on Telangana history culture, published by Telangana Publishers and Sangam Publishers. And another young scholar, Professor 𝗂𝗪𝗪, also wrote one book published by Orient Black Swan, that is on Telangana history. So these are the primary books, but don't think that these 4 or 5 books will provide answers. Hyderabad 400 Years by Raza Ali Khan, Splendor of Hyderabad by M.A. Naeem, Mughal Administration in Golconda by J.F. Richards, and the so-called History of Padmanayakas by Dr. Dayakar Rao, and the Kakatiyas by Parabrahma Shastri, even its Telugu translation is there. All these books will, most important, History of Qutb Shahi Dynasty by eminent historian Harun Khan Sherwani, the first history teacher in the Usman city. So these books will provide you accurate and authentic information. So I suggest all the candidates who are preparing for this Gurukulam Degree College lecturer exams, try to concentrate on these books, try to get wonderful results, and I wish you all the best to everyone. And I express my sincere thanks to the 𝗳𝗧 management for giving me this opportunity to share my some random thoughts on the history paper 2.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. మనం ఇంత దూరం వచ్చి మాకు ప్రతి అంశంలో హిస్టరీలో ప్రతి అంశం గురించి క్షుణ్ణంగా చాలా ప్రతి దేంట్లో నుంచి ఎక్కువ క్వశ్చన్స్ వచ్చే అవకాశం ఉందనే దాని మీద కూడా చాలా వివరంగా సవివరంగా చెప్పినందుకు మీకు ధన్యవాదాలు. అదేవిధంగా ఈరోజు మేము 6వ వార్షికోత్సవం జరుపుకుంటున్న టీ-షర్ట్
శుభాకాంక్షలు. I wish all the best to the 𝗳𝗧, and it should live up to the aspirations of our Honorable Chief Minister and the people of Telangana. Good luck, all the best to one and all.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.